Perfect. So just those last few people that are coming in, I'll do my last logistics and then we'll get going. So pop yourself on camera so I can see you because it's amazing to see your faces. Keep yourself muted. Any questions you have, put them into the chat because my lovely Debbie McGee assistant is sitting over here, Luke, and he will be checking questions. And then at the end, I will be able to answer any of them. So let's get going. So welcome to your 3 quick wins before Christmas. I am Kirsty and I'm going to be here obviously with you for the evening. We'll just get our screen in the right place. Thank you so much. Oh, you're getting a little preview. Thank you so much for being here live. It's amazing when you're here live. And if you stay to the end, what that means also is that you will get all of the additional worksheets that come with this session. And also the option to, I'm going to do a little prize draw over the 3 days where you can enter and win up to £200 to spend on spa decor. So all things like the copper pedicure bowls or sarongs. So it's definitely worth hanging around. Now, the plan is just to literally get stuck in. The aim with these 3 days is to be concise and really intentional, and that I will deliver and teach for 30 minutes. And then we'll do some Q&A, and it's totally up to you how long you stay for, what you ask. If you've got questions along the way that you want me to deal with, pop those into the chat and then we can do those at the end. But let's go. Who is this for? Who is these 3 sessions for? I am super lucky in that I get to go around many, many salons, but also many, many spas. And so spend my days literally meeting therapists and salon owners. What that also means is I spend my days listening to all the troubles of salon owners and salon therapists as well. So I want hands up, any of you, if any of these things sound like you, let me know in the chat. So people that I've been making this for, anyone feel ridiculously tired of working harder? And this has been now all year, working harder than ever before, but feeling like your profit is shrinking. We've been doing it all year, but now we've also got Christmas madness to deal with on top of that. Does anyone also have, alongside that, potentially a little sneaky voice in their head that still keeps saying, well, are people going to spend as much this year? Are they going to have as many treatments this Christmas? That little doubt voice. Let me know if you have that. But meanwhile, you're looking at your columns and you've essentially got bookings that are full of Christmas gel, nails, pedis, tans, all essentially services that most of us on this call all do. And all the other salons all do. Just things that everybody does, with a sneaky suspicion that there might not be that great of a future in that as a plan to be doing the same as everyone else, especially because there are so many salons in your area. If you, let me know, hands up, if you've now just got a ridiculous amount of salons around where you live. Potentially, when that happens, people end up competing on price because it feels like one of the only ways to survive is to discount. Hopefully, and for most of us, your clients all love you, but you still have got this feeling that you are potentially just chained to a treatment bed. And those of you that aren't chained to a treatment bed are likely chained to the HR of dealing with multiple therapists, which in a world where employing people and national insurance and everything that's got more difficult, that is just getting harder and harder. And what I wanted to help is anyone that feels like they are potentially flailing. We all work in such a loud, busy market, but it is totally possible to feel alone in it. And ultimately, we've now also got to gear up for another year ahead. So what I want in these 3 days is to have some quick wins for the next few weeks, but really start thinking about next year as well. And we're going to do it in 3 parts. So day 1, this is where we are. we're going to be looking at the C of sameness. Tomorrow, we are then going to be creating an unforgettable client journey. Really, day 1 and 2 are similar. They need to be together. Today is like the why, and then tomorrow is how we're going to actually do it. And then our third day, we're going to look at making sure that you get your worth. Now, little brief bit about me then. Who am I? So I'm Kirsty. I have literally spent the last 24 years teaching and empowering therapists to be better. That is my why. From teaching MVQs all the way through, helping people open their own salons, day spas, big spas, and literally writing hundreds of treatment protocols, hundreds of treatments for people in FE, through to brands, through to very big spa chains. Like, to give you just an example of the last couple of years, if you can see the logo, in the last 2 years, the logos on the screens, I have either trained spa teams, written client journeys, or treatments for people like Peninsula, Atlantis in Dubai, Cowley Manor, Four Seasons, like a very, very big list of shiny spas. And I wanted to explain to you how that is going to help you. I have lived and still do this really, really unique world where I've got 2 feet very firmly in different places. I've got one totally embedded in the salon market, and I've got the other one totally embedded in 5-star spa land. And what that means for you guys is that I am both and see both. Now, you probably know this already, but what I am adamant about from all of my experience is it's amazing to open a £15 million spa. That's brilliant. It looks incredible. The buildings are incredible. But you've got to think how those places are staffed. Like, they're ultimately staffed by 10 to 40 potentially very young therapists who are there for a job. The difference for you guys is that most of you are owner operators. And what I do and what I have become specialist in is taking all my learnings and experience from that 5-star crazy spa world, like being in the King of Morocco spa this summer, training their teams, but bringing it into your world. Because when you can do that, that's when the magic really happens, because you've got owner operators who care more than anything, who are willing to do and deliver the detail. But what we need is that infusion of ideas and elements that you just don't get exposed to quite as much. So I am still a working training therapist. You are not going to see me living some glam Dubai life telling you what to do while I'm sipping a margarita. If you do see me in Dubai, I'll be lugging cases of product around, setting up training room and teaching people. Those things to know: do not be worried about the size of your business. Everyone here will have different size business, but that unique merging of spa and salon, it doesn't matter about your size. It also doesn't matter what product ranges you use. It doesn't matter if you don't use Pink's Boutique or Proverb, which are my ranges. I am doing this for all therapists to help empower them. So I just want you to know before we go on that everything that I talk about, I have literally lived and breathed. It isn't just theory. This is what I do. And what I can do is help build you those elements that you need for your business. So I've got a question for you, okay? And I want you to write this one down. If I came into your salon tomorrow with my eyes closed, I don't know why I would, but if I came in with my eyes closed, would I be able to tell that it was yours? Now, if I opened them, would I be able to tell that it was yours? And when I left you, what could I tell my friend about how it really made me feel? Like, what did it do that made me feel different? And how is it different? Okay. So on your piece of paper, if you've got them, just ask yourself these questions. And this is one of the first things I want you to do tomorrow. Be really brutal, walk in and ask yourself these questions. And if you've got any good VIP clients or a best friend that's brutally honest, make them come and do it as well. Now, hopefully, what they won't be telling you is that you are stuck in the sea of sameness. But we should have a think about this. if we really think, have a think about all the salons that are around you and all the ones that you have been in. Think about the treatment menu, how it's set out, the names on the treatments, the times of the treatments. Are they not all relatively similar, if we're really honest? A menu that tends to be set out in facials, body, maintenance treatment, signature treatments, named 60-minute Swedish body massage. Everyone's got exactly the same times. We all work on a world of 30 and 60. We're basically begging people to compare ourselves to each other. And that's not a great plan. To give you some context for this, I am working at the moment with a really lovely hotel, boutique hotel chain called Guest House. And they came up with the idea of calling their spas Field Trip. Now, it's a bit out there, but essentially the idea with Field Trip is meant to be they're all in cities, that you have to come in through this like winding pathway full of trees and plants, and you're meant to be going on your school field trip. So I start to go, I'm like, okay, what do I think? I'm thinking natural plant walls. I'm thinking little bugs in jars. I'm thinking satchels. If I go in the toilet, I'm expecting some famous 5 books all lined up. And they say, I want a 60-minute Swedish body massage. Now, if we call it 60-minute Swedish body massage, everybody in that town has one of those as well. So if you then link it back to their unique concept and why, and that's what we're going to start doing for you in a minute, you think, okay, this is about nature, it's about trees. Well, what about if we called this a root and release massage? So bringing in that kind of tree and nature concept. And then you go, okay, well, if we put them on the bed, if we've called it that, what would have to happen? Like the release has got to be, in my opinion, I was like, it needs to be something energy based. We need to do something with energy. And the root element, we've got to do something cool on their feet. So we need to maybe do a foot scrub or a foot mask while the massage is happening. And instantly you can see how it now isn't named the same. We all know there's a 60-minute Swedish massage hiding in there. But also if you are having it because of those other elements of the energy work that we're going to do on the head or the elements we're going to add into the feet, you can't compare it to someone else's now. Now, we'll be doing more of this tomorrow, but this is to start setting the ideas. Then walk into a building and think about how much the same it is. We walk into a reception, big reception desk, blocking our way, same everywhere you go. Why do we even need one? I mean, that is an interesting question. I work with a group called Aman, and their why and their unique DNA dictates that everyone that comes in the building should feel like they've come into their home. Now, you'd never have a reception desk in your home, so they don't have one. So you sit down and someone comes and sits with you. Now, I'm not all saying you should rush out and start burning your reception desks. I'm just saying we need to start thinking and not copying and being just exactly the same as everyone else. Like you walk into your treatment room, what do you normally find? A bed, can see its legs, nice colored towel, which probably matches the decor, row of couch row down the middle. Like that has got to be your most focal, beautiful point. You want them to be desperate to climb in there and never want to get out. Why would we want it to be the same as everyone else? So tomorrow night, we're going to start thinking of some little micro changes we can make there. But tonight, we've got to start with the first piece of the puzzle, which is the why. Very few salons deliver experiences, which is why so many of them stay invisible. And it's predominantly because you don't have a why. So one of the things I want us to do pre-Christmas is a little bit of a self-audit. Now, we can't change everything before Christmas. We're here to find some quick wins. But I know that some of you, when you're listening, will be feeling in your gut that changes need to be made. And it's just to start setting that for you, because once we've got through the mad rush of Christmas, hopefully you will get a few days off. And that is a great time to start thinking about these things and infusing yourself for next year. And this is the bit that I can really help with, to really build brands and experiences that people will pay more for. Okay, how do we do that then? What's the first thing? The screen tells you it is your why. One very tiny word, but really big meaning, your why. So when I meet new spa salon owners, I'll say to them, okay, why did you start the business? And a lot of them say to me, well, to make money. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, maybe. But for a lot of us, we could probably almost earn about the same amount if we got a job when I worked in Costa Coffee. So like, okay, no, why? And then I'll get some people that say to me, oh, well, I just kind of fell into it after college. I trained, I was really good at it. So I did it because I'm really good at it. And I'm like, okay, that's stronger. We're getting somewhere. But is that enough on the day where all hell is breaking loose? When the window's leaking, 3 therapists have rang up and sick, 2 are on maternity, your computer system's just broken down, and all your clients are being really annoying. Is that a deep enough why to make you go, oh no, I love it here. This is where I am meant to be. It's all okay. You will get those days. And what your why will do is your why anchors you. It's like the literal center and purpose that you know why you were there. It is not money. It is not to do with money. So it can't be to do with money. It's about purpose and it's about what's at the heart. But why we need the why is what it will also do is it becomes the like crucial thread to build absolutely everything else on top of. All of the things, all of the unique methods, all of the client journey. And this is why we need to start with it. Best way is to put it in context and give you an example. So I don't know if any of you remember it, but about 10 years ago, I did a project with a salon called Potting Shed. And they were the quickest ever, and I think still are, quickest ever salon to open and then go and win a professional beauty award. The lady who created it, Sam Pierce, was incredible, just an imagination of an absolute demon. And you put us both together and we became really, really dangerous. But the core why of the building was meant to be that everything comes from the earth, that humans forget that everything comes from the earth, the soil delivers everything. Now, once you've got that, if you then follow through what happens next, you're like, okay, well, what are we going to call this place? Potting Shed. What's it going to look like? Well, it should probably have some glass. It should probably look a bit like a conservatory or a shed. It should have some wood. Okay, when they walk in the door, what's the first thing they should feel or see? Some welly boots, some big sacks, some spades. Okay, so they then get to reception. What should the receptionist or the therapist be wearing? Well, we probably want them in aprons like you'd be wearing in your potting shed. I need a drink. I need a welcome drink. That clearly cannot arrive in a champagne glass now because of the why. So we need nice mugs that just mismatch a bit so it feels like your granddad would have on his allotment. We're going to walk through into the treatment room. What colors, what textures do we make it? Well, we should go Hessian. We've got naturals. We've got green. We need botanical prints. We're going into the bathroom. There's going to be a gnome in there looking at you. Off to the mani-pedi area, which I did a lot of work on. Okay, how are we going to make it different? So things like seed packets. We had seed packets that you personalized, wrote the names on. Personalization is huge at the moment. You need something in your building that you write their name on because it just literally it feels like a love drop, like someone has gone out the way to love you more. So we had seed packets with their name that you poured the soak into the bowl, little watering cans to put the water on and wash the hands. Follow through to things like aftercare. It's like, well, it needs to be on seed paper. And maybe we could give them little packets of seeds in part of any like gift vouchers or games. And you can start to see how from that why we created something that was incredibly unique. Now, I am not telling you that you need to go and have such a crazy theme of a spa or salon. If you love neutrals and you want it like that, that is totally fine. But what I'm saying is it needs to link to your why, because that DNA, that unique why and experience DNA literally makes you uncopyable. And that is what you need. So this is what I need you to do. I need you from today to basically stop. Stop doing anything new. So don't buy another candle. Don't launch another treatment. Don't take another product. Don't do anything new until you have got your why, which is the base of this luxury pyramid that you can now see on the screen. And we're going to work from the bottom up on our pyramid. So the why is the bottom piece. Once you've got the why, then you can get into the brand and what your brand needs to be. Now, this is what it doesn't and shouldn't be. So many salons, brand is just a logo and a color and the color of the towels. Like, it's so much deeper than that. We need an identity where we've got a voice, like a personality, and we can't have that brand identity without the why. And once you've got those two, once you've got the why and we've got the brand identity, then you can choose your candles. Then we know what the environment, what to buy. And don't panic because you've already got this in place. I'll explain how we do this. But when you're then picking decor, you're not picking decor anymore. You're picking literally like storytelling tools. Like, how do these things make someone, even subconsciously or very consciously, understand our why and our brand? It stops you being random. Like, so many of us are utterly random in our business. Give you an example, literally just last week, I was in a salon who I work closely with as part of the spa finishing school. She's in our inner circle and is about to do a big expansion. And for the first time ever, she's going to have a relax space, which she's never had. Super excited. Now, having done lots of work on her why is super beautiful and so true, which is her why is about showing what's possible when someone believes in you. Because for her, her mum, her sister, her family never supported what she did, didn't believe she could build the amazing business she has. And so she is now on an absolute mission for her staff, but also for her clients, to show them what's possible when someone believes in you, because she didn't have it. Now, with this relax room, it can either be dark, twinkly lights and dark, or it could be light because they've got very big windows as well. And you go, okay, well, if that's the why, her why is about belief and building hope. Like, what color is it going to be? If you think belief and hope, you don't think dark, you think light. So it literally gives the answer. Like, it's like, there you go. It's a light relax room, done. So you can see how it starts to shape the environment. It also starts to shape the energy of you, the therapist, because you can't have a very calm why and then some frantic energy of therapists buzzing all over the place, crazy loud pop music. It just doesn't work. And when we've got the why, brand identity, environment, and energy all in line, we start to get to the cool stuff. We start to get to the emotion. Like, your clients just can't help but feel your intended emotion. And then the real magic is at the top, the essence. This is what we call the signature memory. And this is where you're going to get things like people saying, there is literally nowhere else like it. Like, I don't feel like this anywhere else. Like, that is the bit that we want, because that is what makes clients super, super loyal. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, okay, but I'm already busy. So do I really need this? Or I'm already established. I've got all my candles and my towels. I'm not buying any more. It's already there. So what do I do? Or some of you might even be thinking, literally, I'm too old to start making major changes. Now, I want to introduce you to Jane. This is Jane. She runs Hummingbird Holistics. And when I met her, she was very busy, probably way too busy, which I know a lot of you will feel, just running crazy column and evening appointment times. She did a lot of work in women's health, but she also did all the normal services as well. So all the normal treatments. And when we started working on the collective and spa finishing school and her why, it became so obvious that the really distinct, unique bit was her passion for fertility and menopause. From her own troubles of secondary fertility through to helping her daughter have her grandson, her first grandchild was multiple rounds of IVF. And then she managed to do the second one with no IVF by totally changing her daughter's world, completely organic, taking all the toxins away. And it just became so obvious that this needed to be her focus. And so now she has this world where she has this amazing like passport system, these library of affirmation cards and extra cards that her women get on their process through the journey with her, teaching them about what saucepans they should be using and the coatings they've got to avoid on saucepans, or what water filters they need, through to a setting up what you can see in the picture, her apothecary kitchen, where you literally have to go through the apothecary kitchen to get into the treatment and come out through it as well. And it's where you'll be selecting and picking herbs that have come out of her garden, learning about the ingredients, how you get your samples to take away, how you choose your body system. She's already managed to take her prices up 15 to 20 pounds, and she's looking at doing a next price increase next year. But what's so amazing for me, the bit that gives me goosebumps, is just seeing how like driven and in control she is since she has done her why. There is no flailing. She knows exactly what she is doing. She knows, because remember, so much of this is about how you feel. It's about how you feel going to work every day. And it matches perfectly, because remember, what clients are actually paying you for is a feeling, not what they actually receive. So when you think about it, and okay, let's take someone comes and has a set of nails. What feeling are they really wanting? Now, it might be that they want perfectly neat cuticles and completely symmetrical free edges because it makes them feel organized, or it makes them feel professional, or they're sitting there having nail art now because they want to feel bouncy and feel excited about their Christmas party. You want to reframe and write down on your piece of paper, just reframe the idea of thinking about why clients are coming to you. Ask yourself, what feeling are they coming for? Okay. Now, what I've said really clearly is that all three of these nights need some actual like action in them, something that we are going to do, that we're going to start together and you can go away and do together. And I just need to explain one thing before we start to try and make some ideas for ourselves about our why. There are two things on the screen, your why and your brand position. People really frequently get them mixed up. Your why is your heart, your purpose, your core, the not making money, okay? But a brand position is something like, I'm the only person that does KC in the 30-mile radius, or I've got an incredibly unique salon because it's in an old windmill and nobody has one of those. Brand positions are things that can change, and they might have to change because the market might change. So you might be the leader in LED lights and facials, but if the market completely changes and everyone decides that LED is a complete waste of time, then that brand position has got to change, but your why doesn't change. So on your pieces of paper, and if you go into your chat, we're going to have a go at just writing one or two things for both of these. So if you think about your why first, okay, your why is the heart of you. Why do you want to help people? Okay, maybe write that down. Like, why do you want to help people? Or what happened to you in the past that's put you in this position where you want to help people in the way that you do? So the why, what happened to you? Why do you want to help people? The other way to think about your why is, if there was one thing only that you were going to be remembered for, what would it be? And if you're happy to put them in the chat, it would be awesome to see some of them. And then The other thing we want to do is write a few, 2 or 3 things of our brand position. So your brand position is what makes you unique in the market you're in. So think about the market where you are, the people you're competing with. What unique factors do you have that are factors that could be taken away? That's the way to think about them. Your competitor can come and steal brand positions, which is why you can't just rely on brand positions. And that's what nearly the whole salon market, and to be honest, the spa market does as well. They will do things like, I think I saw Mel on here. Hi, Mel, if I did. So she's got an amazing array of brow treatments, probably the biggest array of brow treatments one salon has in the area. But someone could come along and do one more than her. So theoretically, think of those things. What is currently your unique positions? But know that you might have to adapt for those in the future. But the more you have, the harder it is to copy. So this is understanding the why versus your brand position. Has anyone written me any in the chat? I'm just having a look at my screen on the other side. I hope that makes sense in terms of, so we've got one there. So they're saying to be heard and not ignored. That is a beautiful why. And that's, you're perfectly getting the gist of why. Being compassionate and wanting people to be heard. To nurture. To be heard. And it's really interesting when you start to think about it this way, because what will happen when we go through this process more, that why starts to impact what you write on the website. It starts to impact what you put in your social messages. It impacts the pictures that you pick. And it, in theory, will go through and start to impact the treatments as well. Well, how do the treatments represent it? Thank you so much, those of you that are sharing, to instill confidence and empathy. Okay, so we'll carry on with this. This is our homework, to be carrying on with this, because this is so important, because when it's done well, this is what it changes. You literally feel more confident and more confident about your business and what you are doing. You will have a clearer identity. You will be able to make clearer pricing choices, and you can also be clearer about boundaries. Now, pop your hands up or let me know in the chat if anyone thinks that they need a 2026 plan of setting new boundaries for themselves. Has anyone got the therapist disease of just saying, I'm not going to book anything in that evening slot because I'm going to my friend with IKEA, or I'm going out with my daughter, and then someone goes, oh, I really need you to fit me in, and before you know it, you're just like instantly, oh, you can have that 7:30 slot, and then you're like, what am I doing? Why do I have no boundaries? But if you know the why, then you can be making better choices. Because, for instance, Jay, in the example I gave you, if someone comes along and says, I just want a facial, and it's nothing to do with fertility and it's nothing to do with menopause, then it's not logical to fit that into a slot she doesn't want to. Or if someone turns up and says, we've got an event at our corporate workspace about wellness, will you come and do a stall? You go into a mad panic and you're like, I need to promote my business. I must promote my business. I can't turn it down. But if they then tell you that most of the people in there are men over 50 and your why is about nurturing and empowering women, it just doesn't make any sense. You can do these boundaries much, much more easily. So what we've done tonight then, and I'm at my timeline, my 30 minutes, Luke's next to me saying, cut. We have really gone through tonight and looked at why you need a why, and how clear it is to me that it's missing in the salon industry. And the result is this C of sameness. And for you, the takeaway should be A, knowing just that, but also carrying on that little exercise that we've just done. And after we've finished the call, you will get a worksheet to help you through the why. And you're also going to get 7 days access to Jay, who will be your new bestie. So Jay is something we've made for our students in our collective. They're letting us borrow him for 7 days. He has been trained by Luke and I to help write your why. So to ask you questions and help you literally formulate a beautiful why. And then what we're going to do tomorrow, once we've got that, is we're going to go and work out and think, okay, well, how do we map this out onto the actual literal experience from the minute someone books with me to the minute I wave them goodbye? How do we imprint it on that to get that amazing client journey? Now, I'm going to leave you just with one thing before we start our Q&A, just to know that this is all in you, within you already. Like, luxury experience isn't luck, it's designed, but you already have what you need in your heart. What you need is some structure and some guidance as to how to get it out. Because at a certain point, your biggest challenge isn't finding more clients. The biggest challenge is how you have the belief and the structure to go beyond where you are now, to go beyond the business that you've got now to the dream version of your business. And that essentially is what I am dedicating my world to in the collective, to helping people do that. Now, I have a question. Well, a big question. Does anyone else have any questions for us? So, anyone has any questions they would like us to answer? If you pop there's a little symbol at the bottom of Zoom with a little raise hand. If you press that, then pop in. And I will, sorry if I keep looking sideways, but I've got the screens with the questions on over here. So either little hands up or pop them in the chat. There's some nice whys in here as well. To be different from the medical world. And to give control to a client without having to be in a spa. Okay. Ooh, one question. How do I access the tools that you've just talked about? So what is going to happen after the call is you will get an email, and it will tell you that you're being invited to basically like a little private training block. And in there will be the why tool, the why mission tool that I've just mentioned. And then within an hour or so will also be the replay of tonight. Now, what's going to happen is each night that will just automatically go into the same place. So each night the tools and the videos will go into there. So you're going to have a login to get in there. Okay. A good question in there. This is the one that people are asking at the beginning. How do I get more clients? And I know that's not just one of you. 3 or 4 people said that at the very beginning when they were talking about, I was talking about what would Santa bring you for Christmas. Like, there is no simple one answer for that, but you have to start with a plan and a structure. And essentially that's what I've been doing with people in the collective is that, and where we start is exactly here. So starting with your own mindset and making sure that you can believe, and then starting with your why. Because what you have, once you've got the why, it enables you to look at the marketing and make more interesting or different marketing, to be really confident about what you're going off and telling people, and to make the decisions about how we're going to go and try and find clients, which will be different depending on where you are based potentially, in terms of, are you on a high street? Are you hidden? It's obviously always harder if you are hidden. And then we just need to find slightly more interesting ways of doing it. Okay, hold on. So Birmingham on a high street. Okay, high street tends to make it a bit easier because obviously you have that walking past. So we need to make sure that you are showing them from the front something that they want to see. Always, no matter how long I have done this for, word of mouth is always the best thing. And I think some of the salons that I work with at the moment, they're very good at getting first clients, but it's then how you hold them. And ultimately, it really comes down, and some of you might have seen me do a webinar before about how to be the best. Like, there's literally, it is so competitive now. Like, you have no option other than to go out of your way to be the best and to be different. And I suppose that's where I really come in terms of being obsessed with differences and details, because anyone you do get in that door, we need to make sure that they leave and can tell someone why you are different and what the differences are. Okay, next one. How do I incorporate the extras of listening, accepting, and counseling into my massage? It's a good question, that one. If wanting to be heard is part of the why, then we do need to think when you are doing treatments about how you would get that into a treatment. And obviously just doing a standard 60-minute massage doesn't work in that sense. So it might be having to take a treatment and going, right, I'm changing the length of this treatment. It's going to have to change price because the length is changing. And we're going to have some elements of building in, like speaking, affirmations. Depends how holistic you want to go with it, whether you want it clearly to be sold as kind of like having meditation and holistics and working within it, or if you want to do it a little bit more intuitively, just building in that time for after the treatment. But both, I've seen both work really well. And if those of you that kept saying being heard, that's the thing I would keep brainstorming over the next few days. How do you hear someone in a treatment? Like, what can we do inside a treatment? Okay, so next one, Sheena says, got a good client base, but I'm trying to make myself unique, hopefully get my prices up. My area is rich in olives, grapes, almonds, and pines.
Lena, suka moistena.
If you just keep your mics off. So why have I not honed in on that? Yeah, it's a good question, Sheena. Why have you not? When you work with big global spas, the first thing we do when we're looking at treatments, because remember, I might be working with a spa group that's got one in London right in the center, but then the next one's in Greece, the next one's in Las Vegas, and the next one's in the top of the mountain in Peru. Like, the first thing we would always do is look at the geography, like what is around you. And those of you that are lucky enough to have something obvious to the geography, something that's growing, or I've got a lady in the collective at the moment who is on a dairy farm. Like, we absolutely have to build that in, because it's a brand position. It could change because we could move from the pine trees and the dairy farm. But while we're there, it's something that could be really unique. So why can't we hone in on those ingredients? It could even be something that you're doing in your own garden, or something that's unique to you. I've got one lady that's got ducks all around her garden, so they've been brought into the website, and you get to see the ducks as well. Okay. So next one. My own confidence gets in my way. I want to do more mindfulness and grounding techniques in the treatments, but I get embarrassed and don't offer it. How can I overcome it? Okay, so first thing is, Zoe, is that you know the first stage is you. One of the things that I am super passionate about, and I will give Luke the credit for this for sure, is knowing as a business person how much of your strength is mindset. And it's why when we have students come in the collective and the inner circle, I literally won't let them do anything until we've done that mindset piece. Because if you feel like you're flailing, if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, if you are not confident, the first thing we've got to do is help you reauthor and re-identify what those new identities got to be. It's literally like drawing a new version of you. That if you're saying, I'm not confident, we've got to find a way to get to the very opposite. Because once you can do that, once you can unleash that power within you, then the game really starts. And it's so hard to play the game when you are doubting yourself. And I have 100% been through this, and I know a couple of people on the call have as well. I spent a good 10 years, I reckon, doing this, where from everyone looking in, everyone would have thought that I was doing super well and always looked very confident at what I was doing. But there was so much doubt still in my mind whether I could really pull it all off. And what I really needed to do was just get rid of that, like find what that limiting belief is. And so one way or another, whether it's joining me in the collective later on, or whether it's finding some like your own life coaching or things that you could do, it's definitely, if you know you've got a whole list. And the way I say it to people is, what are the like reoccurring things that go through your mind every day? You probably heard the ridiculous concept that 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and that we repeat ourselves at least 70 to 80% of them every day. Deepak Chopra was very, very involved in that. But we literally have brains that are plastic, and you are telling yourself the same thought pathways day long, and they get stronger and they get stronger. You've got to find a way to be able to break them, because the brain's amazing. It will just reroute another pathway, but it has to have the actions to do it. Like, it doesn't come from nowhere. So what I'll be doing with people is kind of what we go through a process of reauthoring and working out a new identity, and then repeating those things to you every morning. I've also found over the years that if I tell myself the new things I want to believe while I'm moving, that really stays as well, and saying them out loud. Because it always starts with you. Whatever it is on your list you want to fix, it is going to start with you. I hope that helps a little bit, Zoe. Okay, Charlie's question. So I sadly had to let go of my business premises in August due to family illness. Sorry. And this is why I was saying about brand positions. Things do change for good reasons, for bad reasons. I'm now having to work out of the local village hall. Hold on, sorry, that's just moved on the screen. Come back. Struggling to see how I can make an experience for my clients when I can't control the environment, and it feels so alien from last time. It is really hard. I'm working with someone at the moment, and she's got the exact same problem. Like, she has to basically set up, take it down, set up, take it down. What I would say in that circumstance, and I had a lady recently who she's like, I can't do this because I don't have a toilet. You have to walk through this building to get to another toilet. When there's something like that that is just not good in your mind, as in structurally, it's like, this doesn't work. You've got to, while you're doing it, you've just got to turn in and find the win. Like, how can we make it a much more interesting thing to be doing? Like, clearly, Charlie, you would rather have your nice room back where that wasn't happening. So what could we do with it being a village hall to make it feel like something was unique to it? So for instance, really, like, is there something that the village is known for, or particular groups? Like, could we make it kitsch? Could we like go for a like kitsch village hall feel for the time being? Like, make life feel a bit like a fete. And basically turn in on the problem. Go, right, this is annoying and I don't like this, but instead of trying to fight against it, I'm just going to go, right, I have you, I've got a village hall. How do I hug you and embrace everything about you, village hall? And what can it be? Yeah, I will keep thinking of that, because obviously it's subconscious, but yeah, my instinct is to go, what could we do that makes the play of it, that makes it quirky, village, fate. I'm seeing gingham. and kind of a bit like vintagey, so that you're basically playing the game of working to the environment that you're in. Okay, so Tracy said, similar situation, community hub, picking things up and taking it down after, yeah. And it is hard. It's also really extra hard work for you guys to do it. Just reading. And then we've got another one. So Maria saying she's also got a space which is mixed in with a salon with hair and lashes. So noisy. How do you do nice treatments? Again, embrace the problem. Very common when you're next to hairdressers. with hair dryers blowing all over the place. Like, make it a thing, make it a joke. Could you get some really cool headphones, or even like headphones where you've got like reusable covers, and you make it a big play. So you go like silent disco on the treatment world. So you have print off a nice list of options of different kind of music themes, different playlists you put together. You could have different meditations or storytelling, and you literally go within this space. We always have part of the experiences is immersive sound experience, because we need to get rid of the damn hairdryer. Okay. Spana says, should we show ourselves on social media and talk about the products and therapies to gain client confidence? Doing Q&As. Anyone that has to leave, do not worry. I'm lovely. I will see you tomorrow. It is a very good, interesting question. Now, I went to a Habia conference last week and saw a girl stand up on the stage where she said that when we went into lockdown, and obviously most of us were feeling like the world was collapsing, she doubled her business in the first year of lockdown. She went back into her salon earning more than she had done before, and has literally gone from strength to strength. And she did it all by just deciding to be on camera. And obviously, you'll know, for me, I've taken that decision to stick a camera and a ring light in front of me as much as I can and talk. Think about how you respond to people that do it to you, because if you're listening to them, then there is a good chance that people are going to start listening to you as well. What you need to have is literally no fear. You can't be precious about it. Record something, just post it. If you keep looking at it, you'll find every hair that's out of place, every wrinkle you don't like, every towel that's in the wrong place. You've just got to post it and just pretend that nobody looks at it. I still genuinely believe that nobody sees any of the stuff that I put up, and that makes me much much happier in here. People buy from people. People buy from people that they believe in. And I personally think that route, the only downside I can see in the route of making you the face of it is if you want to sell it, and if you want to sell it anytime soon. So making Pink's Boutique the Kirsty show is not a great plan if Kirsty wants to go somewhere else, but I don't, so I can do. So that's the only real risk I see of making yourself kind of well known within it, is if you want to exit it and want to sell it. But if that's not the route, then I don't see any harm in trying. So I would crack on and start talking, because also remember, what we do is deliver expertise. Like, our hands do it, but for me, the really magical therapists are therapists that can combine their hands doing incredible things with their voice doing something incredible as well, where you know that they're giving you unbelievably unbiased, educated advice about skin. And all of the thousands of training hours and courses that we have been on and done, why are we not telling people about it? We'll get to this on Thursday night when we talk about retail. Like, it's madness that we are letting people go off and buy product on TikTok and in Sephora when we all know as much as we do. Like, it's insane. Okay, let's have a look. I work freelance in a very well-known UK spa franchise. Is there hope for me to one day own my own salon? Yes, yes, yes. And what you should do from now, if you are working for someone else or you're working in a spa for someone else, really watch and get yourself a little nice book and start making notes. Start making notes about what really works well, and start making notes about what really fails. So one of my original business was pure beauty training schools, way before I got into product. And one of the reasons that happened, and I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember them, there was a training school called Carlton Institute in Windsor. And I'd had a weird background. My mum and dad were in wholesale. I'd done loads of courses early in my life, but I hadn't got the right qualifications at the beginning. So I could already do treatments, but I needed to go and find the qualification to match it. And so I went on this magical whirlwind of paying a lot of money to find places where I could basically match the certificates to my skills. And I sat in this place doing a 2-day body massage course, half an ear on listening to what I was meant to be doing. And the other one, Chantel, I spent literally making a list of what was just appalling about the place and what they were doing wrong and what the teacher was doing wrong. And I literally took that as my blueprint to go and open up a school. That is literally what infused me to do it. So working for someone else and seeing the inside is always really, really valuable. Like I sometimes wish on our second business, say with the beauty products, I'm like, God alive, why didn't I go and work for Unilever and learn how to do this before I learned it on my own time? It's really hard learning on your own time, as most of you on the screen know. Okay, so Maria, we've done that one. Joanne's saying she needs to show herself more on camera. I just need to make that step forward to help people connect with me. I'm not onto TikTok style vids. Maybe I'll start looking for advice as a starting point. Maybe I should talk on my why about camera. That's a really nice point. So what I was going to say is that I would really love you guys to share your whys, because that when you share your why with us, that's going to be one of the entries into the potential prize draw. And we're going to do one every night, so there's multiple chances to be putting them in. But I was thinking, how are we going to share the why? So one way is that obviously you can DM it to me. But if you did feel like you wanted to go of talking about it on camera and just putting it into a story, just make sure that you tag us. So tag @PinksBoutique1. My best advice for those of you wanting to go on camera more is talk about something that you really know and that you're really passionate about. And if you are driven to help people and to serve, and I hope that comes across when I speak, my aim in all of this is to like serve and help people. And if you can show that, then people want to listen. Alex is saying, so this is the Birmingham High Street. She's hidden in the hair salon, but they won't let me advertise downstairs. A lot of places do that. It's very, very annoying. You could go down the route if you do socials or videos, like pitching yourself as like the secret beauty room. And like you could do little videos of like, come find me in the secret beauty room. Like I said, lean into the problem. Like if the problem's you haven't got any signage on the front, then how do you make that an interesting quirk? I will see you guys, Joanna and Stacey, tomorrow. Okay, hold on. Let's see this one. So Tracy's saying, I've worked in spas that have given me some nice little touches to incorporate into my treatments, like starting with warm mitts on the feet and the calves, and then doing a massage with foot balm. One of my clients told me this was a lovely touch and encouraged her to go faster. Yeah. The one thing spa industry does have is they have found lots of beautiful little starts, welcome touches. And then what I have done is become even more obsessed with how you find even more. I think because I spent so long in my beauty schools, literally churning out therapists, I was teaching manicure, for instance, to complete beginners every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, I'd have 8 new people join manicures. And every 6 weeks, I'd have 8 new people join waxing. I just used to think, okay, well, when you've done all your exams and all the MVQ assessment boxes are ticked, I know that the treatment will be okay and that your hygiene will be good. But how are you going to be any different to each other? And so that's what I became obsessed by. Luke literally says on my gravestone, it will say it's all in the detail, because you've got to find those standout differences and quirks. And this is why I say is that what's beautiful about owner operators is once we've found them, you will do them well and implement them. Whereas, for instance, spa groups, so any of you that have done a Pinks Boutique manicure know that instead of going under the nail with a hoof stick, we use a piece of fresh lime. So we literally cut a wedge of lime to clean underneath it. I have been into I won't name them, spa, middle of Mayfair. A 45-minute manicure is £95. Okay, they have a mojito bar above us that's full of mint and lime, and the girls just haven't bothered to get a wedge of lime. And you're just like, Okay. Lovely. Those of you saying you'll be back tomorrow, perfect. And this has been really helpful. Well, I hope it has. And as I say, there is more coming. So tonight is the why. Tomorrow is starting to look more at that journey and some of the things that you guys are starting to mention about the rooms, about the techniques, about the breathing touches. And then Thursday starts to be about the money and how we look at making sure that we're getting our worth. So thank you so much, everyone, and for being very chatty in the chat. It's always nice when people are speaking back to me. Maria says she loved it. Thank you ever so much. And we will go again. So you'll get your link again at 7:30 tomorrow night. I'm like your new EastEnders this week. Get me instead. And then take all the notes, go and have a look at the extra bits, and just start. Jay, check your inbox to make sure that you're getting the why mission, and Jay, but ask yourself those difficult questions. Like, don't shy away from those things. Like when I was saying, what would I feel if I walked into your building? Like that's where it starts, with some like brutal self-analysis. Hold on, Layla just said, my daughter's called Layla as well. It's a really beautiful name. I work in a spa, but I've started up a beauty business from my home and converted the garage. I've collectively put together 90-minute treatments and found out that's helps people take care of their wellness journey. I am definitely growing to be more of a fan of longer treatments. If we work together further and later, that's one of the things that I think will start to come more. I think you'll start to see 60 minutes, 90 minutes starts to become the new 60 minutes, I think is what maybe happen. Brenda, Lisa, Paula, Alex,